Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, Felicia. How are you? Hope you're doing well today. And how's your dad? Is he good? I'm doing well. Okay, you're good. Good. Yes, thank you. I'm a little late tonight compared to what I have been, but yeah, I said let me get on here and talk to my people. So I started this as a part of a June challenge, just to kind of, like I said, face some fears of just getting on, getting acclimated to doing the videos as well as, posting videos as well as just going live. So yeah, since this was part of my June challenge, I decided that, okay, got to finish strong. Yep. So I probably need to go ahead on and come up with a time that I'm going to go on. I actually went to the gym um, earlier and it kind of went into my time. I'm like, oh Lord, I got to leave. I had to get prepared for this live. Yep. So I didn't put out a post today like I did previous days. So, and since it's late, I'm not sure how many people will be able to join us tonight. But yeah, hopefully some people can come in, and those who can't, can always look at the replay. So I'll just kind of wait a couple of minutes just to see, who may come in, who else may come in. Yes, yes. So how's your dad? He's doing good. And I know some people they went on the cruise with the downsize, the couple from the downsize, Chris and Lorraine. And yes, hopefully they're having a wonderful time. I'm sure they're having a blast getting to know another on a more personal level. So I'm waiting to hear from some people on that. I'm hoping everything is going well with them this week. And really, I just want to come on just to kind of check on everybody and see how everybody's doing. And I heard some backlash still about, people using GLP-1s. And I'm like, okay, let's see if we can talk about it tonight. Mm. And I think Tuesday is going to be my night to go live. I'm thinking that I probably just start going live every Tuesday. Um, and like I said, I got to figure out a time to go live so that which 7:45 may be better, but I'm gonna try to figure out what time I want to go live. And then that way everybody will know, you know, I already have a heads up instead of me having to post it, as well as, then actually go live. So since we're here together, Felicia, how are you doing, on your GLP-1 journey? Have you gotten any backlash from, because you're using a GLP-1, or your father, or, whatever, or anything, or I've heard anything about somebody else saying they've had backlash from it? I'm hoping not. But I know I heard some people talking about it, having the backlash from it. Um, Even more recently, I heard, someone that has a channel that was saying even people like that may have gotten BBLs have gotten, you know, on maybe TikTok and some other places, and they're talking about, people that talking down against people using GLP-1s. And I'm not sure where the backlash is coming from and why they're so, upset about it. But yeah, but hopefully, I'm hoping that they're, trying to get the education before they actually come on and, give the feedback. It feels intimate, but there's a lot of family that doesn't agree with us using, yes, Mounjaro and Zepbound. That is so true. That's so true. And really, I'm not sure, like I said, why it's such a problem for, people when it's not them. Like, you either use it or you don't use it. You know, it's up to you. Like I've often said, I mean, if you have a headache and you decide, do I want to use medications to help it, help the headache go away? Or do I want to suffer until it finally goes away? It's really up to the particular individual what they decide to do. And, you know, like I've stated too before, these medications are science based, and they are, they've been studied for a while now. It has been, the GLP-1s have been out for years. For some reason, people just have jumped on this bandwagon of the, because it's a little bit more accessible to people now. More people are using it. So I think that's, so now it's a big trend to say, let's talk about people that are using GLP-1s, you know, and a lot of them, I don't think the way they talk, they're not doing their research on it before they, start talking. It sounds like they're listening at, other people, and this, and either get scared or they, just come up with their own opinions instead of researching first before they, start talking, which most of the time is what happens. And it's sad, but I just don't want our community to forget why we're using the medication. Um, it's important for us to, stay focused and continue to do what we need to do to make sure that we are using the medication as intended, and, and do what's needed, talk to our doctors and everything about, what's going on with us as we use it, and, so that we can be successful. All right. So, yes, exactly. We both are just trying to get our lives healthy. Right. My dad has a perfect A1C. That's awesome, Felicia. I'm so happy about that for you, for him. And I've lost over 70 pounds. Awesome, awesome. That's great. But when we were unhealthy, no one had anything to say. Correct. And they probably was talking in, honey, because it don't matter if you can you can be doing a good thing or it can be not so good. And people are gonna talk. People are gonna talk all the time. People always got something to say about somebody else, you know. And sometimes, it's several reasons why they do it. But part of it, some part of it could be jealousy. It could be, just the lack of knowledge about things. Some people just like to hear themselves talking. Really, they do. They just like to hear themselves talk. And then, whatever at this point, because we're on social media, whatever sales, pretty much, whatever gets them the popular vote is what people think about, instead of thinking about what about people's feelings and how they may feel because of the things that people say, or that you can say about these people. They're not thinking about that part of it, and it's sad to say, but that's our world today, unfortunately. But I want this to be a judgment free space for us to, just kind of talk about it, and, just to share our thoughts, our experiences, we have questions about it and things like that, and just unpack, some things. But the biggest thing is making sure that you all are good. Um, and if you're not, like I said, let's talk about it. See if we can, bounce things off each other to kind of help each other along the way, especially for those who are getting the backlash, are feeling feeling maybe shamed or judged from the backlash. Because a lot of people sit in silence, and we don't want that to happen. Want to be able to openly talk about it and be okay with it. So I want to provide a safe space for that. And most of our community, the content creators, they do that, So that's why I'm so happy, and I continue to say on and on each week, that we have a very, very great community that stands behind each other, help each other, cheer each other on. And so I'm blessed to be able to find a community such as what the one we have. Yes, I don't know what's going on lately, but there has been so much more backlash against our community. Correct. It's terrible, but I love the safe space you create here. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So important. So important because we have, like I said, such, it's just getting out of hand, to be honest. And like I said, for no reason, for no apparent reason. Like I often say too, like, and you may have heard this saying before, um, you know, if you mind the business that pays you, mind the business that pays you, and then that way you won't have to worry about, the next person and what they're doing. If we do that, then we'll, I mean, this world can be a much better place. If you, like I said, if you decide not to take the medication, that's fine, so be it. But for those who want to take the medication, that's up to them and their doctor. And it doesn't matter what nobody else thinks about it. It's, you know, as long as they're okay with it, then we should be good to go. We should be, cheering them on, praying for them, praying with them, to make in hopes that, the medication is successful, or whatever they're doing to lose weight, to control their A1C, the PCOS, kidney disease, sleep apnea, and this other things that these medications do help with. So yeah. So I know that there are people that have objections to some people have objections to the medications because they may think that there's safety issues because of long-term use, or that we may get dependent on the medication and things of that nature. I can kind of understand that to a certain extent if you have that concern. However, again, we have to still do our research, um, and make sure that when we're doing our research, as well as talking to our healthcare team about it, because before you get this medication, of course, you're going to talk to your healthcare provider, and they're going to have to prescribe the medication so that you can, you know, begin to take the medication. So if you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do to make sure that you're a good candidate for the medication, GLP-1, no matter which one you're on, then, and, you read up on it for yourself, firsthand, just reading up on it, going to reliable sources on the internet. You can look at YouTube, at doctors, even, people that are already using GLP-1s and things of that nature, and just trying to see if it's best fit for you. Then you can try it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. There are some safety issues, and they just like any other medication that we have or that's available out there for us to use. It's always a side effect to every medication. I don't know of one medication that there's not a side effect to. And so therefore, we have to look at those pros and cons and see which one we decide, see what if we want to decide to use the medication or not. And again, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. And so therefore, there's no shame. It's actual bravery for, a person to choose, unapologetically on what they decide they want to take after speaking with their healthcare professional, after, doing their research and, making a hard decision on what you decide to do. People also think that there's cheating. It's cheating to use a GLP-1, and that's far beyond that's not true at all. It's not true. So that's another diet culture mentality. And I kind of talked about diet culture before on our lives, and it's like, no, it's help. It is help, and it's a tool to help us do what is needed so that we can become healthier beings. Yes. And then also, I know I've heard people talk about it, weight loss should be done naturally, you know, and that goes along with their thinking that GLP-1s are cheating. And so, for those who are doing all the things they should do, um, when it comes down to the medication, when it comes down to weight loss, as well as making sure you're trying to get rid of the illnesses or diseases that you have or that we have, as far as like lifestyle changes, mindset shifts. And when I say lifestyle changes, I'm talking about, you're trying to eat better, you're trying to, move more, exercise, whether it's cardio, strength training, both, you know, um, trying to make sure you get enough rest, sleep at night. Um, Also trying to, reduce the stress in your life. If you're doing all those things, it's going to be very helpful for you. And then using this tool of a GLP-1 medication, which actually mimics what a natural hormones that we have in our body anyway. So I think about it just like, say for instance, using what is the medication? Um, oh gosh, it's I lost the I lost the mm-mm-mm, to help you sleep. Like even using magnesium. Magnesium kind of helps you sleep That's one of the great things about using magnesium. It kind of calms your body down, helps you sleep a little bit. But I'm trying to think of one specific one that people take to kind of get them to sleep a little bit better. But until it comes to me. But yeah, so you may have a sleep aid. I can just say that. Yeah, you may use a sleep aid. And there's different ones out there. Melatonin is what I was trying to think about. Now you use that melatonin, so a lot of people use it, and it's, something that we have naturally in our bodies too. And I don't hear any people talking about, oh, you shouldn't use melatonin, you're cheating, you know, you're trying to get yourself, or what is it, NyQuil? No, not NyQuil. It's another one like a NyQuil, DayQuil. It's one of those quills people use to help, get them to sleep. And I can't remember the name of it, but ZQuil, I think it's called. Yeah, I don't hear anybody talking about that, being that you shouldn't, and bashing it and giving backlash from it. Um, Another medication, like I've stated before, Tylenol, Motrin, ibuprofen, um, of any kind. Nobody's, tripping about that, you know. So you have to do what you have to do to make sure that you're okay. And it's okay to, like I said, use those things. Why struggle? Um, why keep the headache when, you have medication that can quickly reduce it so that it can, reduce the pain so that you can, perform your best. Okay, so Felicia says, okay, can you share any good or bad experience you've had taking Mounjaro if you'd like to share? So for me, Mounjaro, let me see, hold on. I'll come back to you, Felicia. Hold on. All right. So Jen F says she's in the bushes. Hi, Jen. How are you doing? Thank you for coming in to say hi. Yes, yes, melatonin. Yes, that's it. Um, so as far as me having experiences with Mounjaro, yes, I am taking Mounjaro for those who don't know and it helps me with my type 2 diabetes. It helped me lower it from a 15.1, which is dangerously high, to a 5.5 most recently. And I've been on the medication less than a year, and I've gotten uh, my A1C back down to the normal range of and anything under 5 points, 5.7, anything under that, which is 5.6 or below, that's considered in the normal range. So this medication has helped me tremendously. It also has helped me lose weight. But it's a tool that, is is mainly for, helping either lower or manage, I should say, and manage type 2 diabetes. That's the first and foremost. But it also is a tool that may help people lose weight. And a lot of times it's very hard for some to lose weight when it comes to taking Mounjaro or Ozempic, which is another medication that people use, to help control their A1C and blood glucose levels. But for me, Mounjaro has been good to me. I do have side effects to Mounjaro, like I said, just like, if you were taking any other medication. I also take blood pressure medication, and there's side effects to that, So, but again, no backlash because you're taking blood pressure medication. So, I just want people to chill out, calm down, chill out, and let people do them, and you do you. Choose what you want to do, and how you want to better your health. Okay. But the side effects that I've had so far with Mounjaro, and not all at one time, just over the time, because you start with a 2.5 when it comes to Mounjaro or Zepbound, 2.5 milligram dose, and then it's a 2.55. There's a 7.5, a 10 milligram, a 12.5, and a 15 milligram dose. So I'm currently on the 7.5, but most people start on the 2.5, which is a starting dose, a loading dose. And it just kind of helps you get acclimated to the medication, let your body kind of get used to taking the medication. Some people also lose weight on 2.5 milligrams. Some people don't. For me, when it comes to weight loss, it has been good to me throughout the whole time since I've been, from the 2.5 to the 7.5 milligram dosage. But as far as bad experiences, like I said, the side effects that I'm having from it. On a 2.5, I don't really remember any negative side effects to it. Again, it's a loading dose, so a lot of people may not have the side effects. But when I went to the 5 milligram dose, I think probably after that first week, I started having a little bit more side effects. One of them was, I started getting a little bit of constipation from the medication. And then, but part of it is you have to make sure that you're eating enough fiber, drinking enough water, eating foods that are healthy for you. Movement can help with, relieving constipation as well. And so I'm not sure why it started, but it did, happen. It is a side effect to the medication, having constipation, some constipation. So, and if, that's the case, there's things out there. If you're doing the things that I've mentioned, you may have to take a supplement that can help you. I know my doctor states that you can take, Metamucil. That can help because it gives you some added fiber. Benefiber can, give you some added fiber, or flaxseed, either the powder or the regular, in its whole form, or natural form. You also have, as far as supplements, you have like the digestive enzymes. They kind of can help you break down the food, and everything. And it may kind of help you, use it, better. Also, what else is there? And if there's something that you're taking, on the live, go ahead and, you can put that in the comments as well, just as a help to other people that may have had the constipation issues. What else is there? I know I talked to my dietitian, and she really, spoke with me about, just getting more fiber. Because with these people that, when we're on a GLP-1 medication, sometimes the 25 milligram, the 25 grams of fiber that is recommended as a daily recommendation may not be enough for us. So therefore, you want to make sure sometimes you may have to up your fiber intake to maybe, like for me, she said 35 milligrams should help me with constipation, and making sure I'm getting insoluble fiber as well as soluble fiber. So that's an experience I've had. I'm trying to think of what is the name of the medication that they say is okay. Hold on. Miralax. That's the one I couldn't think of. Miralax is okay to use as a daily dose to help, with constipation. Fruits also, if you want to, do it in a more natural form, fruit can help also, because they have a lot of fiber in fruit, green leafy vegetables, just things like that. So yeah, that was a problem. Another problem that is unfortunately still a problem for me is having, or a side effect is having a, like a little, not a rash, but it's like an itchy spot at the site injection. that's something I've been dealing with too since I've been on the 5 milligram dosage. Like I said, maybe like a week after I, did the injection, my first injection of the 5 milligram, I took that. Then I had started having itchy red spots, an itchy red spot at the site injection. So like first it itches, and then of course just naturally without thinking you start scratching it, and then of course then it becomes red, and sometimes that's more harm than good. So my doctor's like, try not to scratch it. I know it's hard not to. That's like people having chicken pox and saying don't scratch it, and it's like, what? Like you just do it and not even think about it. Or even mosquito bites, because it can make it, make the situation sometimes worse. But sometimes, especially with the fingernails, digging into it, and your fingers may not be clean, you never know what might happen. So um so I normally use for that, I normally use Benadryl. That helps me a lot with that, so that I won't have so much itching. So that's been a help for me. Um, and it depends on what area I use. I've learned, like if I'm at the bottom of my stomach, for some reason I don't inspect the right side. I don't know why it's the right side, but the right side, I don't have the itching at all. I know I've spoke to people in the community about it. Jen F is one of the people that I've spoke to. I'm sorry, that has given me advice. She told me that I could use, like take the Benadryl, you know, the day before, or at least hours before, and an oral medication, and then you can take it the day after as well, the day of, the day after, and that may help, and that has helped me. Thank you, Jen F, for that. That has helped a lot, because at first I was taking it like after I did the injection, and so yeah, that has helped a lot. Jen F. Also, I've Delilah, which is another person in our community, she was saying, um I think she was the one that was saying you can ice it. There's a couple other people saying, ice the area first, and I've been doing that, and lately it has not been as as itchy, which is good. But that right side at the bottom of my stomach, that's like that right there is that's a good spot for me. Yep. What else have I had as far as side effects? Mm, 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 mm. Those are the main ones for me. Of course, appetite suppression. That's a good one, of course. And taking away food noise, always wanting food all the time, or thinking about food, all the time. That those are good, side effects to have, from the medication. So yeah, those are the things that I've been facing. I do get cold sometimes too, Felicia. Um, and I sometimes get sleepy, like so say I take my shot, I give myself an injection Thursday after midnight. I'm sorry, Wednesday, but after midnight. So it's really Thursday in the wee hours of the morning on Thursday morning. And so Friday, which is like 24 hours after, I get really, really sleepy. I'm really, really sleepy. I say lethargic, but like the nurses in the like lethargic. You sure no? It's not lethargic, because that means it's really, really severe case of tiredness and things of that nature. So yeah, I get real sleepy on Fridays. But after so long, as the day progresses, then I wake back up, and I don't have that problem anymore. And then the cold, I do get cold sometimes, but I'm not sure if it's from the medication. I know doctors also state that when you lose a lot of weight, sometimes you will get cold. You'll start getting colder than you normally was, when you're heavier. Or it could be me going through menopause, because that's one of the side effects of menopause too, getting cold. So I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I do get cold sometimes, especially like I said on Friday. It's a Friday thing for me. I don't know what that's about. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Okay, so Felicia says, I have a sister-in-law who started Ozempic a few months ago, and She criticizes me a lot about doing too much by being focused on exercise and counting calories, etc. It's frustrating. So I'm not sure. Well, let me see what else you're saying. Okay. I try to tell her she's losing fat and muscle, but she won't listen, unfortunately. Hi, Miss Jerlene. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well tonight. And Jen, I have also asked, and Ms. Jerlene, I asked, have you all been getting any backlash against, taking a GLP-1 medication? Because that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight. Um, and just, are you okay in general? Like, are you doing well on the medication? If not, maybe we can discuss this tonight and, kind of throw some things around as far as maybe give some insights on our personal journey. Um, so if you have, you can put it in the chat if you want to. All right. So as far as what you're saying, Felicia, about your sister-in-law, again, research, research, research. The more we research about these medications, the better we are going to be when it comes to, knowing what we need to do um, to make sure that we are successful. Now, like you stated, I mean, one thing that can happen is that we can, lose fat, of course, we can lose muscle. Um, and muscle, like, you really want to try not to lose that, of course. Want to try to hold on that to as much as possible, because just as you age and as we age in general, it's noted that we, will lose muscle as we continue to, live. And so with this medication, a lot of times when we're losing, because a lot of people are losing, pretty quick, rapid. And so therefore they, so when we're losing like that, we can lose more muscle than we would like to, or than, you normally would, you know, in just regular life. So that's why the strength training is so important, to make sure that, we're able to build muscle, and or at least, if nothing else, try to maintain, the muscle that we have. But unfortunately, most of us will lose some muscle because of, like I said, we're losing the weight. And a lot of people don't understand that, and that's because they have not researched, you know um did their thorough research about it. And like I said, you may be listening at people, and those people may not even know what they're talking about because they have not researched. So that's why you want to make sure you're researching for yourself, not just taking somebody else's word for it. So that's why, I'm very big on researching things. And even like while I'm here on live, I don't know everything, of course. So there may be times where I say, you know what, let me pull up Google and see what they say about it. If I can't tell you myself from what I remember from me looking at, reputable sources online, or, listening to the doctors and the scientists, maybe on YouTube or things of that nature. But also, Felicia, when it comes to community, that's why it's so important to have a community, because not only will this community cheer you on, celebrate you as far as, you losing weight, or, your A1C or your blood pressure is going down and things of that nature. You don't have any issues with sleep apnea anymore. Your kidneys are functioning better. Those things, that we celebrate each other for, but we also can learn from each other, and I've stated before, a lot of, when I was in the hospital, when I found out about my A1C last year, the just discharge nurse told me to find a community. And because they can talk to you, because they're dealing with it day to day also. And so they're learning, and so therefore you can learn from them. You can also, share information that And so that helps a lot, you know, to make sure that you are, being successful. Just use all the tools that you need to use to make sure that you are, you know, um, understanding as much as you can about, what you're doing, as well as, allowing it to help you be more successful in your journey. Oh, wonderful, Miss Jerlene. I'm so happy you're doing better. Oh yes, you're still cold all the time. I know. I was, yeah, me being cold. It's not all the time for me anymore. I was, but seemed like it's kind of going away a little bit. Yeah, but I know I'm cold. Definitely on, like, it's something about those Fridays because I don't know if you heard me, but I take my shot. I give myself the injection in the wee hours of the morning on Thursday morning, between 2 and 4 a.m. And yeah, so for some reason on Friday though, I'm really cold, but it doesn't last all week. Like, it seemed like initially it was kind of, when I started feeling it, it was a lot more, but it's kind of calmed down a little bit now. So I'm happy about that. The only thing about it is because I'm in menopause, I have hot flashes. So it seemed like it was like either you're gonna be cold, I was cold, or I was hot. Very seldom just feel like, good normal temperature. But I can feel the hot flashes kind of coming back on a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to my, it's time to talk to my OBGYN, or in my case GYN, my gynecologist, and find out, is there something else I can do as far as hot flashes are concerned. I just want to get back to a normal temperature, and be good to go. All right, so Janelle says, I'm doing good. I always get, when you are going to, let me see, I always get, when are you going to stop? The normal questions. I hope you're done losing weight. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about either. Again, if you mind the business that pays you, if you, Jen, think that need to, continue on with the medication, um, if you think you need to lose more weight, to help you become, a healthier person, then you do what's good for you. You do what's good for you, and you don't worry about other people and what they got to say. People going to talk. They, they talk about, they people just like hearing themselves talk. And I've had, somebody tell me, oh, you don't need to lose too much more weight. You don't want to look sick. Well, I don't want to be sick either, inside. So I'm going to do what I need to do for Kim. And so I had to make sure I got them straight about that, and they can, like I said, they can believe what they want to believe and say what they want to say, but I'm going to do what I need to do for me to be healthy. Now, am I going to say I have to be super skinny? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that, again, it's about health for me. Yes, I want to lose weight. Yes, I did lose weight. I'm still losing some weight. But the biggest thing for me is being healthy. Being healthy. And so do you, Jen. All right. So Miss Jerlene is saying hi, Felicia, to Felicia and Jen. Yes, she is the sweetest. I love Miss Jerlene. Yes, great news, great regarding your dad. Yes, yes. A1C is so important to make sure it's, you know, better managed. Especially when they say, and I say they say that, once you have diabetes, there's no getting rid of it. So managing it is so important, to do. So, whatever you have to do, like I said, to make sure it's down, and that you taking healthy measures to get it down and better manage it, then, by all means do so. And I'm cheering you on every step of the way. But it's been 90 degrees. Yep. Yep. Or more. Or more. But I mean, for me, it's like, even in the house, it's just like, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. That's how it was. And then, like I said, now it's not as bad. But yeah, I know the feeling of just being cold all the time because, like I said, of the medication. Hi, Miss Linda, how are you doing? That's okay. You're right on time. Hi, Mia, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Okay. Well, you have a good time at work and be careful. All right. So Mill says some people make fun of a coworker because they say she has lost too much and looks like a big head. Oh wow. It's crappy because she looks good and maybe her frame is small to start with. Yes, that's very, very sad to hear that people are saying that about her or him. Is it no, it's a her. About her. That's very, very sad. Again, we should not pick on each other. People don't want you to pick on them. So why pick on people? And I think a lot of people, it stems from, that diet culture that we talked about, and that we all know so well about. You're supposed to be a certain size. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Like it's a one size fit all thing, and it's not that. It's not that at all. But talking about people in that way, I mean, people don't even know how. I know we were brought up. I'm not sure with you all, but it was saying, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. Not true at all. Words can deeply hurt people. Words can deeply hurt people. And you're not sure how people are feeling inside, you know, what they're going through and things of that nature. So you should be mindful of what you say about people. And a lot of times, as you're talking about people, you know, or you don't know how many people you're gonna wind up reciprocating that same thing, people starting to talk about you, and then you don't like it. So be mindful of the words that you say. Be kind. Very, very important to be kind to one another. You don't want to, like I said, anybody talking about you, saying bad things about you. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And so therefore, again, you don't want um indiscretions or your weight, your looks, and things like that, talked about, then you shouldn't do that to people. And some people are very, very jealous. That's part of the problem. They're jealous, and so therefore, they don't know what to say good, or they're feeling bad themselves, so they're, projecting it on you. All right, so Felicia says, absolutely, Jen. It's so strange when people ask, when are you going to stop? Me personally, I don't plan on getting off, and why should it matter if we're getting healthy? That's exactly, Felicia. It should not matter. It should not matter to anyone else about what you decide to do for yourself and how long you decide to stay on the medication. For me, I'm not sure how long I'll be on the medication. If it's for life, it's for life. It's okay. You know, as I go, that's when I'll know, I'll know how, what I need to do if I decide to stay on it or not. I'm not even thinking about that right now. All I'm thinking about is making sure I'm doing everything that I possibly can to be healthier, to reclaim my health. And that's what I'm hoping that, our community as a whole is doing, to make sure that they're healthier beings, you know. And so that's how I feel about that. So do what you got to do. Bellflower says, hi, how you doing, Bellflower? Hope you're doing well today. And I'm just trying to see if you're having any backlash, trying to figure out if you're okay today. Have you had any backlash about GLP-1 that you're on? That's what we're talking about tonight. Yeah. So we can, maybe discuss it, see if it's some things that, encouragement is needed and things like that. This is a safe space for you to talk about it. And yeah, we're going to do just fine. All right. So Geraldine says, I'm going to a birthday party and we'll see family I haven't seen for months. It's going to be interesting what they say. Yep. Yes, I can believe that. And hopefully everybody's, like just be so excited for you and, just cheer you on. That's what I'm hoping. That's my prayer for you. But if somebody thinks or give you any ill, conversation about what's going on with you, then by all means, you can shut them down. However you see best. Because again, this medication is of a great help more than it hinders any of us. So Mill says, I am just built big, but I'm sure after I lose more, others will have more to say because I know people say it a lot. When I was 426 pounds, 0.6 pounds last summer, 2024. Yes. And I was saying earlier, people talk and some people, they didn't hear anything when they were bigger, but now that they've lost, such all of a sudden such an issue, right? And then, like you said, Mia, you have experienced people talking about you, when you were heavier, when you weighed more. But again, people just like talking. People like hearing themselves think. I mean, hearing themselves talk for some reason. But again, when it comes to the backlash that people have been receiving, there's some of the reasons why, and I'll just give you some of those, is just misinformation and lack of education about it, not understanding what this medication really is and what it does for people, what the benefits are. They don't understand that. Another reason, like I said, diet culture mentality. you know um, we've been we've all lived, in the era of diet culture. And so they think that, if we're not struggling, we're not white knuckling it, that it's not valid, or it's perceived as cheating or taking the easy road. And that's, like I said, furthest from the truth. So that is a myth, that is a myth. Um, Again, it takes courage and it's strategic planning on, you know, taking this medication if you're doing it in the right way. All right. Another thing is shame. You know, you get backlash because of shame, or, and so therefore, people may feel threatened, or they may feel invalidated, if people, find different paths, but the biggest thing is making sure that we are, that we're finding our own paths to success, our own paths to being healthy. And then also, yet another one is fear of change. People have issues with change. Um, and so these medications, they help, they help you become healthier. And some people, because of the things you have to do um, alongside of the medication, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for it, which is a them problem. It's not a you problem. It's a them problem. And they have to figure out, how they're going to work through it. It's not for you to try to, like digest about, what they perceive is, incorrect or shouldn't happen, or, it's cheating, it's this, it's that. We don't want to hear it anymore. We're not even going to let that, be ingested into our brains, any further, or into our hearts any further. So, meaning, don't internalize it, the guilt or the shame, because this medication, again, it's a great help to so many people, even with side effects, it's a great help. So Belfast says, I just heard from a friend that she was told not to lose any more weight this past weekend. But did anyone tell her to stop gaining weight when she was over 300 pounds? So crazy, these people. Correct. Correct. Nobody's going to talk, or, they may have talked about it, but guess what? They talked it amongst themselves. They went out on social media talking about it. They went out in her face talking about it, or his face, if it's a guy, for guys that have heard this. Yeah, they're not, they may have talked about it then, but a lot of times you're not hearing about it like you're hearing about it here, because you decide to use something that's going to be a tool to help you, be successful. But people just, like I said, like talk, like hearing themselves talk. It seems as though they like hearing themselves talk. And it's sad to say, but it's so true. Jennifer says, not one person asked me why I was getting so big. Right. They weren't concerned about me then. True. I tease my family. I'm like, why y'all didn't tell me I was that big? Oh my gosh. When I look back at my pictures, and because I didn't feel like I was, I knew I was heavier, yes, but I felt good in my skin. But then now that I, look back, and I'm like, wow, you know, I just thank God for being able to, this medication, is available for me at this moment. And I was able to be prescribed it and able to use it, and that it's working for me both to help me with my comorbidity, how you say it, comorbidities. Also, it's helping me to lose weight as well. Again, it's a blessing, that because a lot of times people that are on Mounjaro, they, of course, they have an issue with type 2 diabetes. And that's why they're prescribed Mounjaro. But a lot of people are having issues losing weight. And so, because even though it's a tool that can help you lose weight, that doesn't mean that you're going to lose the weight, right? Or everybody's losing at different pace, and which is okay. I mean, again, it doesn't matter how quick you're losing. The point is that at the end of the day, I say if I needed 100 pounds lost, someone else needs 100 pounds lost. Once we get to that point of 100 pounds and we're feeling healthier, we're feeling good about ourselves, we're feeling good inside out, we're not going to even think about, we may say, yeah, it took me, 12 months to lose, 2 years to lose, whatever. But the gratefulness that we feel, the happiness that we feel that we are healthier beings, that's far more important, and it sits at the forefront. Where some people, and I stated before, like when you're having a baby, it hurts, right? When you're actually about to give birth. But even so, once you see that baby, once you see your baby, what you've created, you and your partner has created, you don't think about, oh my gosh, it was so much pain, blah, blah, blah. And that's why a lot of people have more, and even in spite of pain, that we know that we had the pain, but you don't think about it once that baby, comes out. You just think about loving that baby, and so therefore you think about, what you've done, the success you've had on the journey, or whatever, or that you've met your goal of, becoming healthier, of, losing the weight that you wanted to lose and things of that nature. So that's all that matters, not about what people say. Again, it's your journey. You're on this journey, for yourself and to better you, to become better for yourself, for your health inside out. And so therefore that's all that matters. Just making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do to, meet that goal of yours, even if it takes a long time, if it's, it's a short period of time. Yes, that just makes you probably, be happier sooner. But even in the process, any progress, it should make you smile, put a smile on your face. That's why we think about non-scaled victories as well as scaled victories, not just scaled, but non-scaled as well. And I would say for those, especially who maybe still haven't, they may be going slower with their weight loss, just remember those non-scale victories. If you have to write them down, write them down. Count your blessings. Name them one by one, because those are the things that are going to get you it's going to help you through as you can progress to, what your goal is. It gives you something to, be excited about, even though the scale may not be going down. Okay, so Jerlene said I was called fat when I was a size 7. See? Sickness. That's people's mind sick. People don't know what to say. Like, that's ignorance on their part. All right, Felicia says, I'm so proud of you, Mia. You've come a long way from 426.6 pounds. Yes, yes. I think what you've lost, like, definitely like 120 pounds, Mia, or more. All right, Journaling says, Mia, wow, I can relate. Yes. All right, Bellflower says, G and F, that part. I guess it's incentive when you're bigger. Child, bye. Shaking my head. Insensitive. What I said? Did I say it right? Yeah, I know what you were saying. All right. Okay. So Mia says, see, I got so round I couldn't fit on a lift machine to reach boxes from high shelf. So now I've lost 9 inches around, and I'm sure I fit on it now. But when I didn't, I got some side eyes and comments. Yes, I can understand what you're saying, Mia. And I'm happy that you have, did what you needed to do. The medication is helping you, lose it. But I'm sure that you're doing what you need to do, changing your lifestyle, making lifestyle adjustments so that you, when it comes to nutrition, moving, exercising, and things of that nature, so that you can be as successful as you can, using this medication. Mia says, I'm just proud, and I know everyone won't be proud of me, so I just come here for my support and safe space. Yes. Yes. We're definitely proud of you, Mia. Definitely proud of you. And that's when we come here, that's why it's so good to be able to have a community, as I was stating before, because we can celebrate each other. This space is safe to celebrate each other. And we have, created a community to where we can share these things, personal things, whether they're, things that weigh us down, or things, that we want to celebrate, this is a safe place we have created as a community to be able to talk it all through. All right, so Geraldine says, Bellflower, yes, insensitive and rude. Correct, insensitive and rude. Hi, Blonde Patriot, how are you doing? Oh, my butt. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Blonde Patriot. Hi, how are you doing? All right. Jolene said, Mia, that's why I'm here for support. Correct. And you do very, very good at support, Miss Jolene. Thank you. I'm about to drive, so I'll keep. Okay, thank you. Hi, Downside the Diva. How are you doing? I'm good. Hope you're doing well. Miss Jolene says, to Blind Patriot. Hello, losing it, Grays. I'm sorry. Yes, people are so rude. They tend to be so rude. Sorry you're going through that, Mia. Yes. And really anybody in the community, if you're going through backlash, whether you say it or you don't say it, look, our apologies. People can be very ignorant, you know, and don't really realize how much words can hurt, and side eyes as well, But I just, say, just let the noise, like, just get the noise away from you. Don't let it into your mind, your spirit, your ears, and continue to do what and focus on what you're doing, because why you're on this journey. And so be laser focused with it, so that you won't have to hear so the backlash will not be a thing for you. Because people, we can't stop people from talking, right? We can't stop people from saying what they're going to say. People are going to be people, you know, and so we want to make sure that it's not going, whatever they say, it bounces right off our ear and move forward. Okay, so Bellflower says, I asked my babies the same thing, Kim J. They said they didn't realize it until I lost so much weight. The lens of loving, the love of your kids see you through is so pure. That's so true. That's so true. Mia, I'm sorry to hear that. You are doing well. This is what Dowsize Diva says. Show them by continuing to lose and getting healthier. Correct. And you know what? We don't have nothing to prove to these people either. These naysayers, these people that want to give backlash. We have nothing to prove to them. Nothing. All we're going to prove to ourselves that this go around, that this is the medication and the things that we're doing along with taking the medication, that this right here is going to help us, become better, become healthier, and of course, to lose some weight, no matter how much weight you lose at the end, that you lost some weight. But again, being healthy is so important. That's the most important thing. That should be on the forefront of everybody's mind, taking that GLP-1 medication. All right. So Jerlene says, Bellflower, what loving children? Correct. Mia said, thank you, Dee Dee. All right. Right. Isn't that's insane, Dee Dee? Yes, they thought she was fat at a size 7. That's ridiculous. Yes. Downsizing D says, you're welcome. Mia says, I've had several people say kind things as well. I just set down the negative, right? Because it doesn't matter. I know my struggles, they don't. Correct. And you know what's, like I said, what's best for you. At the end of the day, it's what you think is best for you. Again, you're speaking with your doctor. You know these medications are science based medications. It has so much research has been done on them. These are not the first medications. Zepbound and Mounjaro and Ozempic, well, I'll say Ozempic has been around longer than the Mounjaro, and of course the Zepbound and the Wegovy. But there were other medications before these medications, and because I guess it wasn't a trend to talk about it on social media, you didn't hear a whole lot about it. But now that more people are using it, and I guess they decided, hey, let me pick on them. People are also picking on people that have they decided to have weight loss surgery. People just like picking on people. And like I said, a lot of times they're just as miserable, and so they want to spread their misery to somebody else. But again, it's a you problem if you have a problem with how I look, how I feel, what I'm doing to take care of myself. That's a you problem, not a me problem. So I'm not going to internalize it to make it be a me problem. And so that's what I want and hope for our community. But yes, people are saying kind things. I get kind things, said to me as well all the time. And, I'll shut them down if they start talking a negative things to me. I will shut them down in a minute. Dee Jolene said, Dee, let's call it jealousy. Correct. Exactly. That's what I said earlier. It is, a lot of it is jealousy. 100%. Absolutely. 120 pounds. That's what I thought, Mia. Then recently you gained 6 pounds back, and that's okay. And now losing those. Yes, that's awesome. And that's what we consider journey, right? It's on a journey. We're going to lose a little bit. We're going to gain a little bit. And that's okay. Because guess what? We're on a journey. It's bound to happen at some point. At some point. Some people lose, off the bat, out the gate, right out the gate. They start losing, and they lose fast, and then it kind of slows down as they, as the months you know, go on. Some people, they lose slow first and then they start, losing a little bit more rapid, as time progresses. But it, like I said, it does not matter either way. And then some people, like you said, you may lose a little bit, you may gain a little bit. Depends on what's going on in your life at the time. You know, will determine whether you lose or gain. But either way, healthy, continue, just continue on that path to health. Continue on that path to health. And just like what they say, what goes up must come down. As long as you're on the medication, as long as you're doing the things you're supposed to do, nutrition, better nutrition, better, movement and exercise, better lifestyle changes, less stress, what else? Just thinking, even your mindset shifting to that you want to be better, that you want to be healthier and not just lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, yeah, you're going to do good. You're going to be okay. You're going to be successful at this. The more things you do, if you do all the things, you're definitely going to be successful at this. All right. So jealousy really is just undercover flattery. That's what Losing It Gray says. Yes, Mia. All right. So non-scale victor this week, eating less than 150 grams of protein more than 150 grams of protein these last 2 days. Great stuff, Losing It Grace. That's awesome. That is awesome. So your body need more protein, and your goal was 150 or more than 150, and you've done that. Awesome. All right. Felicia said yes, Losing It Grace. Undercover flattery. Yes. All right. So Be Will. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the chat today. I hope you're doing well today. Took my first shot today, currently 300 pounds. All right. And we hope that you do so well. What medication are you on, Be Will? Congrats, Losing It Grace. Be Will, congratulations on taking the first shot. Yes, yes. Congratulations. People are saying, woohoo. Yes, welcome to the GLP-1 community and your GLP-1 journey. Congratulations, Mia says. Yes, everybody's congratulating you, Be Will. So proud of you. Yes, he's okay. You came to a great place for support, and we will celebrate every victory with you. No side eye here. That's correct. So true. Look, we be happy with you. We'll cry with you. But we're gonna figure out, if you have issues with it, you let us know. Come back, let us know, and we have a great community that will help. Give you support. Show great love. Cheer you on, encourage you as needed. And, and you can do the same, because I'm sure, as you continue to take the medication, you're going to learn a whole lot. Make sure you're researching, as much as you can about the medication, so that you can, from reputable sources, of course, so that you can, know as much as you can about it while on the medication. I'm so excited for you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Miss Jerlyn. Have you hit the notification bell? Hopefully, you work that out. Bellflower, I know that's right, my Libra sister. Shut them down. Right. Exactly. And actually, I'm sorry, Miss Jolene. Also, I know some people have been having issues with the notification. Unfortunately, it's they may have clicked the button, the bell, but for some reason it's delayed for some reason. I'm not sure why that's happening, but hopefully, they fit the YouTube powers to be fix that. Hello, Journey of Life. How are you doing? I'm happy you made it to the chat tonight. If you have something that you want to speak with us about, you can put in the chat. As far as you being on a GLP-1 medication, maybe to lose weight or to help, with some of the ailments or diseases you may have, comorbidities that you may have. We're here as a safe space to help you through those things. Very knowledgeable people, that are on the chat tonight that can, be able to help you with some things that you may be going through. Jerlene says, doing my chair exercise. That's sweet. All right, get it in, honey. Yes, get that movement in. Right before the live, I was at the gym. I had to leave the gym. I'm like, oh my goodness, time, flies when you're having fun, right? That's what they say. So, I had to hurry up and leave them out of there. I couldn't do as much as I wanted to tonight. But I'll do some after the live tonight with my dumbbells. As well as I got to do my 30 of 30 challenge that I'm on for June. 30 minutes of walking or movement for 30 days. Yes. And I've been doing well on that. I haven't posted, a lot about it, but I do have some videos, like little short videos about it. So I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to put all this together so I can share it out with you all of me, doing my walk. I know at first when I first started in the month, I didn't actually video it, but then I started videoing it a little bit later, like mid-month, and I've been kind of videoing it ever since. Just a little bit here and there, just showing that I'm, what I'm doing as far as walking, and then I'm getting the 30 minutes in. But I am getting them in, y'all. So Ms. Jarlene is saying hello. Okay, you're on Wegovy. Okay, all right. So you're on it for weight loss, but it also will help you tremendously if you have any health concerns. And again, I hope I pray that you have much success from it. All right, Journey, just a small town girl living in a loudly Cali, right? Oh boy, there's no place like Cali. Yes, my sister used to live in California. I went to visit when she was there. She's no longer there, but her husband was living in California, and she moved there with him when they got married. Yes, I have, Kim J. Okay, yes, yeah. For some reason, I've been hearing people say that they haven't been getting the notifications. You know, when we first dropped the videos, I'm not sure. Like I said, what's that about? So hopefully they can get that fixed. I'm not sure who we're supposed to talk to about it, but yes, hopefully that it'll work like it's supposed to. So just want to ask the chat, what way have you become healthier physically, emotionally, or spiritually since you started your GLP-1 journey? If someone wants to share. And I'm going to post it in the chat. And this can also help help people that have starting their GLP-1 medication, to let them know, what we have personally experienced. Again, that's why community is so important, because we firsthand have experienced this medication for a while now. And so for those who are just starting their journey, or like B Will said, it's the first shot tonight was. So yeah, y'all give them show some love to B Will. Okay, so Miss Jarlene says spiritual, I'm sorry, has been on point. Yes. Awesome. 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 So you're getting closer to the spiritual side, closer to God. He's helping you through this, as well as myself. I can say the same thing. Um, Again, with my A1C being so high, when I found out I had diabetes, I went to God about it and prayed and asked God to help me, find ways to improve my health, get my A1C back down. Because of course that's scary to hear that you've been diagnosed with something that they say is uncurable. It's manageable, but not curable from what is said. And so, you know, it's something. Diabetes is something that can affect so many different limbs and organs and things. And so, like you can get retinopathy, which is issue, blindness in the eyes, or it can, make your eyes worsen your eyesight, neuropathy, which is like damaging your nerves. You can get, your organs can break down. It's just so much that, that you can experience if you have diabetes or other, comorbidities as well. Other illnesses, diseases. That's what comorbidities are like when you have two or more diseases. And so, yeah, so we want to make sure we get a handle of it, because we don't want it to be too late. Of course, we want to, and as long as we're living, it's not late. It's not too late. So we can, even though maybe like for years I had, say, high blood pressure, and then I developed kidney disease because of the uncontrollable high blood pressure in my younger years. But I just started like last year to really get control of my health. Really, really take it seriously. And when I say take it serious, I'm saying like I decided to do all the things that I need to do to make sure that I, reverse some things, better manage some things, just get everything under control and manage them well. You know, I mean, I'm not sure how many people are managers maybe on their job, but you know how important it is to make sure you're managing effectively, efficiently. And so we need to do the same thing for our temple. You know, we're here on this earth to, be able to, um, help others and love one another and, you know, be the best us that we can be. And so in order to do that, we need to be healthy, right? And so therefore we want to make sure that we are doing whatever we need to do to make sure that we are healthy, that we reclaim our health, that we, so that's what, I'm saying today. Just make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do no matter what, unapologetically, to those who, are given this community backlash. Um, Nobody cares about what they think. And again, it's a lot of it is a lack of understanding. That's why they have so much to say. It's a lack of understanding. They hear, some things on social media about, maybe the bad or the downside of the medications, and they just start vomiting out the mouth. And and don't even realize what they're saying, and or how much they may be hurting people's, feelings, or their mental. And I have experienced okay, so Bellflower says she experienced a total shift in mindset. Correct. Correct. That's me as well. Me as well, Bellflower. And so Bellflower says this time was not a fad diet or a quick weight loss scheme. Correct. That's awesome. That is awesome. 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 And that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I prayed to God about this, I was serious about it. I was passionate about it. He heard my cry. He knew, from deep within my soul that I wanted to get better. I want to start doing better. And therefore, he gave me the tools. He gave me the resources. He gave me my community, and the ideas, the creativity to make sure that I was able to be successful this time, because I've been on weight loss journeys before. I've taken medications, I did at one point, I wasn't taking them like I was supposed to, but then, I decided to start taking them, but it still was not working. Taking the medications alone was just not working, so therefore, and I'm not talking about with the type 2 diabetes. I'm talking about like with the high blood pressure. I was taking blood pressure medications, and it still was not. It was helping a little bit, but it was not helping. And it wasn't making sure that my pressure stayed where it's supposed to be, in the normal range at the 120/80 or less. Your systolic is supposed to be 120 or less, and your diastolic should be 80 or less. And even though I was on medication, I still, I was like, maybe borderline, in the borderline range. And so therefore, getting on this medication, Mounjaro, once I found out about my type 2, developing type 2 diabetes last year, 2024, in July, it has tremendously helped me not only lower the A1C, but also help me lose the weight, help me lower my pressure back to the normal range, the under 120/80. And so I'm no longer, playing in the high numbers of hypertension, or, staying within the pre-hypertension range of 130/90. So I'm doing very, very well with this. So I thank God that he was, and I put him in the center of this, and so therefore, he's helped me tremendously. And the fad diets that I was on before, that wasn't helping me lose either. It wasn't helping me lose either. I mean, I lost. I shouldn't say it helped me lose. It helped me lose a little bit, but it did not help. It wasn't sustainable for me. So it does what it's supposed to do at the moment. And then, I'm right back up, or more than what I was, when I started the diet, because they were fad diets. All right. So Jerlene says my numbers are great with diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and inflammation is almost gone. That is awesome. That is awesome. That's another thing. I did mention some of the things, earlier about how, what this medication helps with. And I can say it again: PCOS, type 2 diabetes, inflammation. It can help with high blood pressure, help you lower your pressure. It helps with heart disease. It can help with sleep apnea. It can help with kidney disease. So, and they're learning so much more about the medication as they continue to research. And when I say they, I'm talking about scientists, doctors, they're learning so much more about how these GLP-1 medications are helping, more so than hurting, us. So again, when people say that you're cheating, don't listen at them. Don't let it get to you. It is a great medication from what I see, and I have experienced personally. It is a great medication that has come about to help us, as a tool to help us get better, be healthier. And so therefore, by all means, take the medication. If you decide to take the medication, and be proud of what you're doing, be proud of it. And I'm so happy for you, Miss Jerlene. Give you, your kudos, your daddy girls, because you've been doing what you need to do to make sure. And this is just these things that you're saying. It's just a result of you doing the things and your progression. All right. So Journey of Life says just started 10 weeks ago. Spiritual God has helped me so much, and I'm so thankful to Him. I could physically run after my toddler now. I know that's right. That is so awesome, Journey of Life. That is so awesome. And that's you. It's just been 10 weeks. Hey, and you're doing the thing. You're doing it. And I'm so excited for you. And I thank God, that He is helping you as well. I thank God for He's helping you. And even for those who may not say it or not think about it, or just, not, people of faith, He's helping all of us, y'all. Just saying. He's helping all of us. Um, Felicia says, my mental clarity has improved 100%. No food noise and wanting to exercise and eat much healthier. I thank God every day. Exactly, Felicia. I'm so excited for you. Yay. Kudos to you. Awesome. Awesome. Mental clarity is so important. That mindset shift is so important. Again, not, yes, we want to lose weight, some of us, because we may need to lose some weight to help us become healthier. However, it's so important that our mindset shift to say, hey, I'm not just doing it to lose weight, I'm doing it to be healthier. And so Felicia is a testament to it as well, that she is becoming healthier because of her eating, because of her exercise, of course, and because of the tool that she's using to help her, that she doesn't have the food noise anymore, and that she now has mental clarity. And that is so important, to have mental clarity. And that is awesome. That is awesome, Felicia. Kudos to you again. Okay, hi, Miss Linda McDuffie. How are you doing? Hi, Kim J. Good evening. I did not know you was on tonight. Never got notification. I'll check out the replay. Thank you so much, and I'm happy you were able to join us. I hope you're doing well tonight. We're talking about, just trying to see if you're doing okay. Just a check. This is just a check-in, from one GLP-1 sister to my sisters and brothers in the GLP-1 community. Just to make sure that you're doing well. If you need any help while we're on this chat, go ahead and, put it in the comments. As well as, making sure that you're not getting a backlash, or the backlash that you may get, that you are turning a deaf ear to it. All right. So Miss Linda said, good evening to everyone. Have a peaceful evening. All right. Losing It Gray says, I'm motivated now. That is awesome. That is awesome. And we're here to help motivate you, not only to motivate you, but we're also hoping that people, as we take the GLP-1 medications, when the motivation runs out, that we have habits stacked to make sure that we are not only, having motivation, but we also are developing disciplines, lifelong disciplines as well. Yes, yes. All right. So Journey of Life says, you too, Linda. Hello, Miss Linda. Keeping the motivation going. Yes. Yes, Journey of Life. We're going to keep this motivation going, especially on this channel. I'm here for encouragement. I'm here to cheer you all on. I'm excited when you all are excited. I tear up sometimes when you tear up, like, because, you're dear to my heart. This is bigger than just me. We want to make sure that we all win. And so therefore I'm here for it. Mia says, my echocardiogram went well today. Awesome, awesome, Mia. So no issue with my heart. Thank you, Lord. No issue with my heart is a big praise. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yes. Great, great stuff. All right. So Miss Geraldine says, wonderful news, Mia. Yes. Felicia says, awesome. Don't stop believing. I know that's right. Don't stop believing. Yes, losing with grace. Losing with grace. I don't know why I could want to say losing it. Losing it with grace. Losing it grace. Jarlene says, hello, Miss Linda. Helps with addiction too. Is you right about it. It helps with addiction. All right. So congrats, Jarlene. Congrats, Mia. Yes. Congrats to all of you that have had success on this journey. Congrats to everyone that has success on this journey. Those who think this is cheating never walk in our shoes. Correct. Journey of life. Correct. This is far from an easy way out. Yes, it's far from an easy way out. It's far from cheating. It's far from being lazy. It's far from that. I wish it was as easy as they think. Correct. Correct. Yes, yes. I wish it was easy as they think. But you know what? What is that saying? But let's see. Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to find. Okay, so there's a saying, a quote, nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth having comes easy. So we should have our health. God has made us to be healthy. And so, therefore, with that being said, it may not be easy, right? Life is not always easy. We're going to have trials and tribulations. We're going to have, things that are going to come against us. But guess what? We're going to continue to run that race. We're going to continue to push forward. We're going to continue to move no matter how hard it seems. You have your community here to help you when it seems hard, but it's worth it. And you're on the right track. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. Sometimes it seems hard, but that's an indication that you are on the right track. Doing the things that you're supposed to do to make sure that you are successful. Hard is okay. But guess what? Mentally, you can decide whether you think how hard it is. We want to make sure that if we can, switch our minds to say, like, speak things that are not as though they were. If you've heard of that before, we can make it as simple as it can be for us, even though it could be hard still. But how our mindset thinks about it, how we think about it, how we process it, we can process it and make it simple for us, if you can understand what I'm saying. Because of a lot of things, it's how we process it in our mind first, right? And then, of course, so we think, what, it may be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. It may be difficult, but I'm still going to do it, and the more you do it, the more you do all the things that you're supposed to do, the more you keep pressing toward, what you need to press toward, to become healthier, to lose the weight, to manage your ailments, the easier it becomes, the simpler it can become. Because if you change the way you look at things, the way that you look at things will change. That's another quote that, have been stated, famous quote. If so think about how, what you're thinking about, and, see if you can try to make it, have a positive thought about it, and find things that's going to make you excited about doing the things. And that's going to help it be a little simpler, right? Especially during the hard times. Wonderful news, Miss Jerlene said, Felicia. All right. Thank you, Miss Losing It Grace. Lifelong discipline. Correct. Say that again. Yes. Lifelong discipline. All right, so Mia says irregular heart is probably related to perimenopause. That could be it. That could be it, Mia. That's another thing that women have to work, deal with. I mean, when we talk about this menopause, the the menopause, the postmenopause, it's so many things out there. As we research and find out more things about it, that it's like, oh man, I've been feeling this and that, and that's why I'm feeling it. Like sometimes we like, why are we feeling all this stuff? And as we research, we're finding out that this menopause thing that women go through, it's these are the reasons why we're going through some of the things. These are, like for instance, like you said, like Mia said, irregular heartbeat. Having your cholesterol may have been real good for years, and then all of a sudden, you're in perimenopause or just menopause, a stage of menopause, and now your cholesterol for some reason is going up. The LDL, the bad cholesterol, they call it, the bad cholesterol. And you're like, what is going on? It simply could be because of you being in menopause. That's crazy, but it's true. So yeah. All right. Jerlene King says, you are in your true element tonight as a content creator. Thank you, Jerlene. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sis. All right. So losing it, Gray says it's exhausting being a woman. Yes, it can be exhausting. It can. It can be very exhausting. It really can. Yeah, because we go through a lot. Because you got some men say, honey, I can't, I would never want to be a woman because y'all go through so much. Y'all go through so much. So yeah. But you know what? Again, as we come together and form the communities and be a part of communities, it's such, like I said, it's such a great help because it's, the things that we may not have heard before, we learn from our community sisters and brothers, and we can then go and research. When we hear something, we can go research our own self just to see, what they're talking about, learn a little bit more about it, and things of that nature, and from different, sources, either through Google or through YouTube. Like I said, listening to other doctors and scientists on YouTube, other community members and things of that nature, and just learn about, try to learn as much as you can about, the things that you're going through, and to see how, what things you may need to do to help you alleviate some of the hardships that we may, as women and as men, go through. And I just want to let you all know, too, that, you're not alone on this journey. You're not alone. For those who are out there in YouTube land, that think they are alone, you are not. You are not alone. First of all, God is with you. You can always talk to him about, what you're going through. Also, we have communities out here on YouTube that are of great help. My community, our community, this GLP-1 community is very helpful, very knowledgeable. That I'm learning more and more. They're very knowledgeable. They're doing the research. They're figuring out, how to better help content create. We have a lot of great content creators out here, within the GLP-1 community. We're all learning, y'all. We're all learning as we go, as we progress. But, you can learn some tips from, us. And, like I said, we're in here, we're doing these lives so that we can talk it out. Because, you see the videos and you can, comment, and, it's some chatter that can happen, as far as, engagement in the comment section, but it's nothing like a live, which is why I say, you know what, I need to go ahead and start going live, to be able to talk more to the people. That's why I love going to, other content creators' lives, because, we learn so much in the lives, and we can get to, know people on a little bit more intimate setting, as far as, especially for those who are not content creators. We can learn about them and, do some dialogue with, each other to help each other along the way. So just find a community that can help, that is best serves you, and that you can help them as well. Um, what you're doing, using this GLP-1 medication to help with your illnesses, it's valid. It's valid. Like I said, it's science based, and it has proven day by day, more and more, how great this medication is for so many people. For so many people. And they're just not throwing people on this medication just to say, oh, okay, let me get some more money from them. Your doctors are looking, and our doctors are looking, at what issues you have, what ailments you're going through, what you've been dealing with for a long time. They're listening at, what you're saying to them, what you're bringing up in your different appointments. And they're, either suggesting it to you, or they're listening at you, say that you would like to have it, you know, and they're putting in the information that's needed to your pharmacies, and to the prior authorizations to your the insurance companies, to see if you can get on the medication. And then they also have, if you can't get on it that way, you also have telehealth providers that can offer you some assistance. And you also have, Lilly and Novo Nordisk that you can get medications directly, the GLP-1 medications directly from. Um, with the prescription, of course. So yeah, you're not alone. You have your doctors, you have us, and we're gonna get through this together. You are worth healing, joy, and to be full of life. And so, therefore, don't let any backlash from people that don't know anything about, or barely know about this, or very uneducated, or very ignorant of this, of what these medications are capable of doing, to make you healthier. Don't let that stop you from doing what's best for you. And only you and your doctor, and of course God, more importantly, know what's going to happen, what's going to be best for you. This is your journey. Manage your journey efficiently, effectively, and you'll be all right. Yes. So I want to leave, I want to let you know that tonight. Um, and the backlash says more about them than it does about you, right? People, like I said, if they mind the business that pays them, then the world will be a better place. So you just keep showing up for yourself and for your health, and don't worry about backlash. Don't worry about, don't let that stuff enter your ear gates, um, into your mind, and get you and derail you from your health journey, your better health journey. Okay? Do that for me. Do that for me. And I'm hoping that this is helping, you all out there, that's not in the chat, as well as the people that are in the chat. I thank you all for coming, tonight, sharing your stories, uh, if you shared your struggles, the same. And again, this is a safe community. And so therefore, I would love for you to share, your journey with us, so we can give encouragement when needed, and we can, sing praises for you, and, give you the atta girls, atta, atta guys, or about, kudos and everything, to cheer with you on your journey. Yes, the community of health hustlers. Right, right, Felicia. Yes, Darium has given us it's Darium has given us that name, health hustlers. Yes, we're hustling for better health, for improved health, and we're doing it. We're doing it. We've got this. So 4-6 says some people in these communities are extremely rude and defensive. That is true. That's true. That is so true. And I haven't experienced that with our GLP-1 community. But if you've experienced it, this is one that is a great one. If I'm not sure if you're in, our GLP-1 community, as for, because I don't know, of course, everybody, but yeah, find you another community if the one that you're in is not serving you well. Um, and you are welcome to ours. All right. So Felicia Marie says, I'm so sorry if you've experienced a negative. Yes, yes, 4-6. Yes. Not here though. We are very supportive. Yes, yes, Felicia. And like I said again, 4-6, you're welcome here. All right. So Mill says Express Scripts got a new home delivery pharmacy provider to deal with GLP-1s. I called to give them my savings card info yesterday. Today my price was noted on my order. I get 3 months. That is awesome, Mill. I mean, every little bit of money that we can save, it tremendously helps. With all the stuff going on, prices up like crazy. Yes, that's awesome, Mill. I also paid $25 for my Mounjaro. And it's for 3 months as well. Yes, and I'm with CVS Caremark, and get my prescriptions filled through CVS Pharmacy for what is it, 84-day supply, which is just your 3 months, 84-day supply. It has helped tremendously. 4-6 says thank you, Felicia. All right, Mia says so very thankful because I was paying 100. Yes, that's awesome. All right, so Jillian says 4-6. Sorry you experienced that, but it does happen. Yes, it does. It does. Unfortunately, it does. Jolene says, this is a wonderful community here. Find a community that celebrates you and not just tolerate you. That's so true, Miss Jolene. And again, this is a good community. And I thank God that I found them. They found me, some of them. And yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, 4-6. All right. So just to go over again why people sometimes get backlash, of course, the diet culture conditioning that we are all have grown up around, that they think you should suffer to earn your weight loss. And that's, again, a myth. That's a diet culture myth that I am debunking today. I wish I had a mallet. Yes, they feel like if it works too well and it's too easy, then you cheat, and then that's not true. That's not true. We have to do what we have to do as well. We have to do the natural things as well within this journey. Um, I know there are some people out there that are taking this medication, for those who are on weight, that's doing it for weight loss. They're just taking it haphazardly, okay, let me just take the medication and just let it work, let it do what it do. And that could be why we're getting the backlash too. I'm hoping one day they realize, do not use this medication as another fad diet, right? Because we already know fad diets are not sustainable, right? They may work a little bit while you're doing it. Some may, some may not. But the diet only lasts, or the gains only last as long as you of course do the thing, right? um And so therefore, it's not always sustainable for us long term. So therefore, do not, I hope that you're not using the medication, the GLP-1 medications, no matter which one you're on, as just, another fad diet. And so therefore, if you do the things that you're supposed to do, all the things you're supposed to do to make sure that you're not only losing weight, but also making sure that you're becoming healthier, by doing the natural things that we know to do, right? Better nutrition, better exercise and movement, reducing our stress levels, making sure that we're sleeping properly, getting the amount of sleep that we need, those things, and so much others that we need to do, making sure that we're trying to, our goal is to continue to push towards that. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. We're looking for progression. That's the thing. Not perfection, progression to get to our mark, to get to, what our goals are, for our weight loss goals, for our better health goals. Think some of them, like I said, will come easy. Some things are not going to come as easy. But, we need to be willing to do this for the long haul, as far as making sure that we are, that we are improving in our health. Okay, so not only is diet culture being a problem, that diet culture mentality is a problem, but also, misinformation and ignorance. People, they just don't know enough about it. They don't know, they hear from people, they just don't know enough, and they hear from the wrong people. And so therefore they're just talking and not, really understanding what this medication can do for us, as well as it may be a help for them, if they get out their own way, and quit the stinking thinking. So yeah, they think they're dangerous. They think that everybody's going to just regain the weight, and that's not true. That's not always true. If you stop doing what you're supposed to do, you may regain the weight. More than likely, you'll regain the weight. But that's any diet you're on, anything you do. If you stop doing it, if it's something that was serving you and you stop doing it, then of course you're going to get, whatever the opposite is, right? So that's what anything you do. So misinformation and ignorance, that's not a reason to give, backlash to people. That's not an excuse. Do your research before you start opening your mouth. But these things, like I said, these drugs, they help so much. Again, insulin resistance, PCOS, type 2 diabetes, and so much more. So much more that we've talked about on this, on this live in general. And I'm a testament to it. I'm a living testimony to it helping with the things that I've mentioned. Okay, jealousy is another thing, or insecurities. People are jealous, just plain jealous. And people have stated that in the comments, in the chat. People just plain jealous. They're insecure about themselves. So they want to try to, project that on us. And today we're not having it. We're not having it. And I hope you stand with me on that. We're not having it, if you, just be happy yourself and for yourself, then you can happily celebrate others. And that's one of the reasons, why you're having, you've found 4 sticks, those people that, and can say, those people are rude, harsh, whatever. But it's from their ignorance, it's from their jealousy, insecurities, and just from the diet culture that we, all grew up in. All right. Another thing is projection of internalized shame. They're shamed about how they look. So they want to project that again on you, on us. They were told they have to do it the hard way. And so they think everybody should do it the hard way. And that's further from the truth. Again, earlier I talked about, taking medications like melatonin to help you with your sleep. If that's what you need to help you, your mind calm and you can get some rest, that's a hormone that's already in your body. And if it's not working quite like it, should, or like you need it to, and your doctor stated it's okay to use melatonin to kind of help calm you and go ahead and make you rest well, then it's nothing wrong with that. But you don't hear people talking about melatonin. Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's cheating. You should, just keep counting sheep, you know, or just keep, staying up and, wasting hours because you can't get sleep for whatever reason. No, nobody's saying that. If you have a headache, nobody's saying, oh, you shouldn't take Tylenol. You're wrong for taking, ibuprofen. When you have surgery, nobody's saying, oh, don't take that, the ibuprofen they're giving you, the Prowlis, was it, just different Medicaid, the hydrocortisone and things like that. They're not saying that. They're thinking that's okay to take. So it's the same with this medication. It's okay to take this medication if you need it. If that's going to help you get better with your health, with your weight, meet your goals, your needs, then by all means, do it. Do it unapologetically, without shame, without guilt. You know, I can't stress that enough. Like, nobody cares what they think. That's not their journey, it's yours. They judge themselves harshly. Maybe because their parents judge them or some other people judge them, but they don't like being judged. So then they should not judge, right? You don't want others to judge you, then you should not judge. But that's exactly what's going to happen by them judging, us. They're going to get judged, and they're not going to like it. And at some point it may click to them, wait a minute, I shouldn't see, I do this and now I'm getting it. So maybe I shouldn't be so hard on these people, right? Yes, you reap what you sow. All right. Also, toxic wellness ideas. Um, they think, oh, as long as you do it you should do it natural. The natural way to do it is good, and natural is like doing it without medications. If you say you're trying to lose weight, they say do it naturally. That means you're doing it without the assistance of medication. Well, we are doing it naturally, right? We're doing it naturally because we're changing the way we think, which is our mindset. We're also eating better. We're finding ways to eat better. We're also finding ways to move our bodies and things of that nature. That's the natural way, right? But we also are using this tool to help us with what we're doing. We're habit stacking, and that's okay. That's the best way to do it. If you have to do it that way, that's your best way, right? Because you may have done that in the past, tried to do it, then just you know mere willpower or things of that nature. I'm eating better. I'm exercising, I'm doing all the things, but I still cannot get it off or keep it off. It could be so many reasons why you can't, medically, when it comes to that. One thing, like Mia said, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, those things fight against you. Fight against your weight loss. They fight against a lot of things. And so, diabetes, they, or other ailments, they fight against, the things that you try to do on a natural, in a natural way. And so, again, these tools help in case you do have that problem. PCOS, same thing, you know, same thing. It is, your body is fighting against you. However, you have these medication that's going to help you in your efforts that you're doing, the hard work that you're putting in, the tough, days and nights that you've had to try to make sure that you are doing the things that's needed to make sure that you are losing. And now this time it's working. So why would we stop it? No, we're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pressing towards it. You know. Also, just more judgment of being on a medication. Um, you know, people think, oh, willpower is awesome. Yay, kudos for willpower. Well, kudos for willpower, but also we have to use wisdom, right? We have to use wisdom. So again, if you for some reason have had issues trying to do it the natural way, and you decide you need these medications, to help you with it, losing the weight or getting healthier, getting rid of some of the diseases you may have, the ailments you may have, then by all means, why leave it on the table? Why leave it on the table just because somebody else think you shouldn't, or just for willpower's sake? No, you want to choose wisdom over willpower. Wisdom over willpower. And you, like I said, you're not less worthy. You are very worthy of making sure that you are taking care of yourself and doing everything you need to do to get better. And again, like I said, the media hype, you're talking, everybody, oh, this person says it's wrong to do it. This person says, rapid weight loss is not good and blah, blah, blah. Well, again, do what you need to do for yourself. It's not just a celebrity trend, like other things may have been. This is something that is powerful, very helpful, and has been researched so much, and still being researched day by day to help us, those who may have had issues in the past, losing weight, or better managing their health. So we want to make sure that we use these medications to the best of our abilities to help us with what we are going through. You're welcome, 4 Sticks. Mia says lifestyle journey, not get swing. Right. It's a lifestyle journey, not a get slim quick scheme or fad. 4 6 says I'm worried about long-term side effects if I decide to try these injectables. Again, do your research. 4 6, do your research on them. They're researching every day. Scientists and doctors and the powers to be are researching these medications daily, finding out that a lot of these medications are doing more harm. More good. Sorry. The medications are doing more good, say it right, than it's harming people. And so weigh your pros and cons. Again, I'm a living testimony. They've been doing well for me for a little less than a year. Yes, I've had side effects, but they're manageable. And like I said, all medications have side effects. Every last one of them. I don't care if they say they don't or not. Every last one has side effects. And so not controlling my A1C, not controlling my weight, not controlling my pressure, my blood pressure, not controlling, my kidney, the way my kidneys work, which is the comorbidities I'm facing, and have been combating since along this journey. Not doing that, it's not going to be good for me either, right? It's not going to be good at all for me. So I talked to my doctor about the medications. I researched so much about the medications, and like I said, found a great community that that lives it day by day as well. And it has helped me tremendously. And so therefore, I put my fears on. I just get rid of my fears about it, and I don't think too much about, oh my gosh, what if in negative ways. I think about it in a positive way. I pray about it. I ask God to allow it to help me do what needs to be done so I can be healthier. And it has been working thus far. All right. Jerlene says, 4 6, I'm listening to my body to signal me. Yes. And your body will let you know, as Jerlene states. It'll let you know if you decided you want to take this medication. Talk to your doctor too, of course, about it. Let them give you some information, more information about it and things of that nature as well. But your body signals with you. You can stop the medication. Like say if you decide to get on it, you can always stop the medication. And matter of fact, your doctor going to stop it if depending on what's going on, with you as far as your side effects is concerned. If it's going to be detrimental to you, they're going to stop you. They're not going to keep you going on the medication just because they put you on it. They're going to make sure that, it is serving you well, So just continue to think about it and pray about it and, talk to your doctors about it and, hopefully, it works out for you if you decide you want to take it and it serves you well. I've made some, Mia says, I've made some comments on the GLP-1 content out in regular YouTube, and some people really are supportive and yes, and congratulations are given. Just some ruin it for a lot of others. Yes. And they don't have to, Mia. You don't have to let them ruin it. We don't have to let them ruin it for us. Like I said, keep an open mind about it and do your research and just do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. And I'm just talking to everybody in general. Samir says those Himalaya salt drinks that's supposed to be the natural GLP-1 is playing every other commercial on YouTube, and it's toxic health idea. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I've seen that too. The Himalayan salt, commercial. And Himalayan salt has its good properties as well. It has its good properties. You have to research on that as well. But I don't know about on natural GLP-1. I disagree on that. And they say it's a lot of different ones I've heard out there saying it's a natural GLP-1. But like I said, do what you think is best for you. And let us know how, come back and let us know how it's going for you. Hopefully it's going well. 46 says, I am skeptical about the name they give it. Oh, never heard of that before. Oh, wow. Ignorance. Again. Ignorance. All right. So as Darium says, and most importantly, these hi, as Darium, how you doing? Let's start there. How are you doing tonight? And most importantly, these medications are helping fix our metabolic dysfunction. Correct, Darium. Correct. These medicines help our bodies function properly so we can treat our chronic diseases. That is so correct. That is so true. Good evening. Yes. Kim J and the Health Hustlers. Mia says, so true, Darium. All right. Thank you, Kim and family. I have to say good night, Miss Jolene. All right. So as Darren said, these are not weight loss meds. Right. They treat diseases like obesity, overweight, diabetes, PCOS, right, MASH, etc. Yes. Yes. They're not weight loss meds or again, for like fad diets and things of that nature. They're treating diseases. They're treating diseases. That's so true, Darian. It's a tool to help that may help you lose weight, but it is to treat the diseases that we have, the comorbidities that we have. Good night. Hi, Mia. Losing a Gray says hi to Darian. Good evening. Hope everybody's well. Hi, Kim, and everyone in the chat. Hi, Low Carb Queen. Hi, Miss Kim. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well on your, I know you've talked to your dietitian and they've, kind of given you a plan to help you with your nutrition, to help you with better health. And I hope that's going well for you. I'm doing well. And if you've had any backlash for some reason, on your GLP-1 medication, if, using your GLP-1 medication, then again, turn a deaf ear to it. Do not let it derail you from your journey, to better health. And I just hope all is well with everyone. Um, and that we keep on keeping on, you know, and that we all find ourselves um, in a healthier state someday soon. Good, for sure. Yes, yes. All right. So, does anybody else have anything they want to say? It's time for us to. Hello, hello. Felicia says to low carb queen. And also, for those who are new in the chat and may not know some of the people that are in our community that's in the chat, if there's anybody in here that has a channel, a content creator, go ahead on and drop a money sign of some sort so that they can check you out if they want to, and become a part of this community. Mill said, you know how many people have died from the effects of being obese, right? Many more than ever died from using Mounjaro. Correct. Which is, part of my point. Like, I can't just keep going. I couldn't just keep going like I was going. I had to find something to help me, and Mounjaro has tremendously helped me. And it has helped so many others within our community. Keep a positive mind. Keep a positive mind. Set, when we're on these medications. And again, I know somebody that actually has a channel on this medication that I follow, and she had some issues where she thought she felt a lump in her throat, and they took her right off. The doctor took her right off the medication. Bloop. As soon as she said she had some issues, and they worked with her, ran some tests and things, and to see if could have been the medication, could have been something else. What was it? Why did she, whatever she was feeling, was it something? And I just found out, I saw it recently that she's actually cleared. Everything is okay. Nothing is wrong with her throat. And as far as, what if this medication and, didn't do anything to her throat or anything. And so she did exactly what she was supposed to. Go and talk to her doctor about it. And she's on a compound medication. And the doctor jumped on it, and they was like, okay, hey, compounding doctor told her, go check, go talk to your PCP about it, and let them run some tests, and she did, and they cleared her. And so she was actually able, and she could not go back on the medication until they made sure it wasn't because of the medication. And so now she's starting her journey again. I know another person too that's a content creator that was she had some issues herself, and they took her right off that medication. Just like, quick. Let me make sure, you're good. Make sure it's not the medication. So doctors are doing their thing. They're making sure they are, they're your health team. And they want to make sure that, that this medication, like I said, it serves you well. So for the things that, the little things that we do have as far as, can be a side effect, as a negative side effect, like I said, for me, the benefits are far outweighing the side effects, my side effects. And like Ms. Jolene said earlier, make sure you're listening at your body, and if something goes on, just like these two young ladies I was just talking about, just sharing with you, that are content creators, they was listening to their bodies. They were feeling, they know how their body's supposed to feel and how, what's going on with their bodies. They're aware of their bodies. And so, and the things that they, go through every day. And they immediately went and talked to their doctor about it. A lot of people just, for some reason, they don't want to go and talk to their doctor. You have to, have that relationship with your doctor. And if your doctor is not serving you well, guess what? Go get a new one. It's so many doctors out here, you just find another one if they can't serve you well. But from what I'm hearing and with my doctor, they're serving me pretty well. They're serving these young ladies that I talked about well. The people that's in the chat, I haven't heard them say, bad things about their doctor. But listening at your body and just making sure that you have that relationship with your doctor is so, so important when you want to use these, GLP-1 medications. And that's any medication for that matter. That's any medication. All right. So, very good point, Mia. Zeba has helped me so much. Yes, yes. And Darren says, that's a great reminder, Kim. These are prescription medications and should be taken under their care or the care team you've developed. That's correct. And making sure you're talking to each doctor and letting them know what's going on. Because sometimes, you have a care team, but sometimes they don't talk to one another unless you're like in the hospital. Then they, of course, all get together and be like, okay, let's see what's best to get her back to at least being able to go home, or him back to go home, and fix the emergency or whatever. And then manage that so that, they can better manage it at home and, at the regular doctor's office. But so you want to make sure, because you don't know who's talking to who as far as your doctors are concerned, make sure you're talking to each doctor and letting them know what's going on with you, what medications, each person has you on. Like, for instance, for me, I have a kidney doctor. I have a that's managing my kidneys and my kidney disease. I have a endocrinologist that helps me with my diabetes, manage that. And she can do some other things as well. I have a regular general practitioner, PCP, that can just help with overall health. I have a heart doctor that, just make sure this ticker is still ticking properly, So I have several different, I have a GYN, because, gynecologist. And of course, gynecology are OB-GYNs, OB for if you're pregnant, GYNs for, just regular routine women's health. For those who may not know what that means. Yeah. So I have a lot of different doctors that I talk to. And then I have a dietitianist. She's a nutrition and dietitianist, simultaneously. And I talk to her. So they don't all talk to one another at all times. They may get their notes and things like that. If they're on the same system, they may be able to get their, each other's notes. But, there's some that I have that's not on the same system. So I have to make sure I talk to each one of them and let them know, hey, this is where I'm at with this doctor. My heart doctor said this, my, endocrinologist said this, blah, 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 just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And that's up to me as a patient to make sure that, everybody knows what's going on, No help for doctors where I'm so sorry, 4 sticks. None? Wow. So you can also maybe talk to your insurance company and see if, they can recommend somebody to you. I know they can give you a list of people, and sometimes, it's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, unfortunately. But like I said, you keep trying till you find somebody that can help. And that'll listen to you, and take care of you. G's 101, he's a content creator. Go check his channel out. As Darren says, there are so many teledoctors available. That's true. That was in my head too. Teledoctors or teledocs available to help. There's nothing wrong with expanding your care team and finding one who can help you. That's so true. That's so true. Like some of the doctors just for instance, some of the doctors, they don't know a whole lot, or just learning about HRTs, which is hormone replacement therapy for people that are in menopause. They don't know a whole lot about it because when they went to school, they didn't learn a lot about that. They may have talked a little bit about it, but they didn't talk, intensive about it, or, like, like where they could get. Some people what they do, they have to go back to school and learn, just about that so that they can, help their patients. And with that being said, you got some people, even within our community, that have like stopped going to their just regular PCPs and found somebody like a concierge doctor, that can better help them, because they thought their PCPs, may not have been able to help them in certain areas. So they found concierge doctors, and you have to pay a little bit more, but, they say it's worth paying the money because they want to make sure they have somebody that can help them. Okay, 4-6. Yep. Okay, I said that. All right. Hey there, G's 101, says Darium. Mia says, my doctor offered mine to me and orders any test I want to or need. Yes. What's up, Darium? All right, Darium. That's how it's done at Kim. You're right. You have assembled your Avengers team, team of docs to take great care of you. Yes. Thanks, Darium. All right, Low Carb Queen says, hey, it's Darium. I got the journal you created through Trace of Twan's life. Great information. That's so true. Yes. So it's Darium, just to say to who those who don't know, he has a you want to talk about it? You want to say put it in the chat, Darium? You can put it in the chat for everybody just to let them know what you've so graciously given to us. It's just it's a what 30 it's a 31 day calendar that can help with to help you make sure that you're not comparing yourself to somebody else's journey, because everybody has their own journey. Yes, we have similarities on our journey, but we're made unique. Everybody don't have the same thing. We're not dealing with the same things as far as say comorbidities, or just our makeup is different, right? Everybody is unique, fearful and wonderfully made. So my journey, I cannot compare with Darium's journey. Some things, like I said, are going to be similar, but we all are different. So the medication may be different for him than it is for me, right? And I'll say same thing with Mia, or say Miss who's on Mounjaro, Jerlene, and I'll say her because she's on Mounjaro. Well, Mia is on Zepbound, Darium is on Mounjaro as well, but he's a guy. So I just wanted to, just put that out there, just comparing, I'm a woman, Jerlene is a woman, but we're different still. We have a lot of differences as well. So, we don't want to compare each other. We want to learn from each other. We want to, like I said, celebrate, encourage, and everything like that. Some things we may listen at and we may, try, but just know that everything that works for the people that I've called out may not work for me, and vice versa. So that comparison detox calendar is very, very good. Please check it out. It may help you on your journey, like it has helped so many of us, like Patrice Denise. She's a content creator. She's did the 31 day, there it is, detox. And Trace of Twan's life, she's not on here today, not in the chat, but she's now on the journey, using that to help with her to make sure she's not comparing herself to others in a negative way, in other words. Okay, so okay. All right. Thank you, Mia. Is it MIDI? MIDI does telehealth weight loss. So that's somebody that you may want to check into. If you need a 4-6, if you need a telehealth doctor, if you want to go that route. Darium says, oh, wow, Low Carb Queen, I am so glad that you got it. I'm glad you're enjoying the information as well. Yes, it is great information, y'all. And there's one that's, just it has, some information that's just, like natural, things that we may go through that he wants you to think about and kind of, dissect and, just reflect on some reflections. And then he also has one that has scriptures to go with it as well for those who are, that read your Bibles. But yes, they're very, very good. Very, very good thoughts, Darian. Have you hit the thumbs up button? If you have not, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get alerts when I drop videos or when my lives come out. And just to those who are still on there, I'm thinking I've done a weekly live every day in June. I'm sorry, every day, every Tuesday in June, and that was as a part of my challenge, my June's challenge that I've been doing. And so this is last Tuesday for the June's challenge. So I have successfully completed my goal. Yay, yay, yay. I'm also doing a 30 of 30, which is moving 30 minutes, getting 30 minutes of movement for 30 days. So I walk on my walking pad, or I may go, it's called a treadmill, quote unquote. Or I may go outside and walk, go in the gym and walk on a treadmill. So I'm doing that. I haven't posted a lot of videos about that, whatever, but I do have some out there. Have some that I'm going to share with you all. I have to see how I can put it together. But yeah, I'm happy I can say, and I think what I'm going to do, I think Tuesday will be my night. Go on live weekly. I got to figure out a time, but yeah, Tuesday is going to be the night that I go live, y'all. You heard it first. Low Carb Queen says, and I'm talking about every Tuesday, unless I have something to do, of course. All right. Yes, I feel so much better now with the dietitian and weight loss management specialist. Great, Miss Kim. All right. What with the scripture? Yes. All right. I created a comparison detox, a 31-day introspective to help us detox from the poison of comparison. Yes, the poison of a comparison, y'all. It's for GLP-1 warriors. Yes. And again, it's great stuff. You put the link in there, Darian. If you want to put the link, you can put the link. You can. Okay. You can grab a free copy from the link in my YouTube bio. All right. Y'all can go to It's Darian's page and go to the bio and get your free copy. Thanks again, Darian, for that. Low Carb Queen says, I have found that the weight loss community is very supportive. Yes, this weight loss community is very, very supportive, especially the GLP-1 community. Yes. Way to go, Isdarium says, geez. For says his last couple of doctor visits, they prescribed Jardiance and now Gabatipin. I don't know if I said that right, but okay. I do not want to take those. Okay. So I did take Jardiance myself, only for 2 months though, because I asked my doctor. When I found out I had type 2 diabetes, I found out July 3rd of 2024, and then my A1C was a 15.1, and so they made me go to the hospital. I had to go to the emergency room. They admitted me, of course, and started working with me as far as giving me insulin. When you go in the hospital, if you have issues with diabetes, they're going to put you on insulin whether you're on a pill or not, right? That's just what they do. And that's everybody. And then, of course, when you go back home, if you're on a pill, you can, you can take your pills, still, take your pills like you normally would. But for hospitals, they just put you straight on insulin. But I wound up going on insulin, but I had to take insulin home with me, unfortunately. But it was fortunate that I did, because of course it helped me, at the beginning of my journey to get that A1C down. Insulin helps very, very quickly get your A1C, back, or I'm sorry, your glucose levels back down, right? And not your A1C, but your glucose back down. And then hopefully, of course, your A1C will go down when they check again in the 3 to 6 months like they normally would. Because mine was so high at 15.1, which is dangerously high, they checked me over and over and over and over and over. Did I say and over again? And gave me the insulin I needed to get it down to a manageable level, so that when I go home, I can continue taking the insulin to keep my glucose under control. And so I did that for 2 months. So from July to September, the mid-September, I took insulin. But I also asked when I was in the hospital, can I take Mounjaro as well? Because I knew Mounjaro would help me, with my A1C, because it's helped other people control their A1C, get it down and control it, as well as their glucose numbers on their blood glucose, which is your daily numbers. And so that's what I did. I also wore CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor, and that helped me along the way as well, to monitor my glucose, per minute of the day. And so it can help me know what I need to eat and what I shouldn't eat, as far as like if it was up more than what they said it should be, then I know, okay, I don't need to eat a lot of carbs at this moment. If it was down, okay, I need to eat a little bit more carbs, so I can, and then at some point I was able to learn how to manage it, better manage my glucose levels. And so once I went back to my doctor, even before, because he had me do a blood test, not blood test, what is it called? Blood work, get blood work done before I went back. And I found out that my A1C had gone from a 15.1 to a 12 in a couple weeks. And that was even before I got on Mounjaro. And that's because of what I was eating, so that's why I said, you got to change your lifestyle too, and that's why I prayed to him, asked God and asked him to help. And he's helped. And so therefore I started a low carb diet, because I want to get that thing down, at least back on the charts. I did that. And, I did my low carb diet, and it was very low at the time, because I want to get it done fast, want to get it down very, very fast, because I was in dangerous levels. And so that's what I did. And then, so I went from the 15 to the 12. And then by September, I want to say it was the 4th or 6th, I was down to 8.6. Yes, because of the lifestyle changes, through nutrition, through walking, taking the insulin. At that point, I had started taking Mounjaro on the 30th of July. So taking the Mounjaro, and that helped me get it down further to the 8.6. And then by the time I got to my actual endocrinologist appointment, at mid-September, he told me to get off of it, get off of the insulin, don't take it anymore, and stick with the Mounjaro, and I'm going to give you Jardiance to take place of the insulin. And Jardiance did good. It did good. It helped me go down even further. And so I took that from September to the beginning of December. And because I was wearing that glucose monitor, it also told me what my A1C would likely be when I go back to the doctor, within the 90-day period. And so when I got back to the doctor in January, I stopped taking my Jardiance in December. And then when I got back to the, because my sugar levels was going too low at that point, because of the Mounjaro, I had started at 7.5, which is, I titrated up from the 5 to the 7.5. And then I was taking the Jardiance, and the Jardiance was making it too low, the added medication. So I stopped taking that, talked to my doctor, of course. So it's like, you don't have to take Jardiance anymore at all. Just stick with the Mounjaro and you're good to go. And so when I got back to the doctor and I did the blood work right before I went back to the doctor in January, and my A1C was back at the normal range, 5.6. So I'm proof that lifestyle changes, as well as the medication, which is the tools, helps tremendously with getting that A1C down and managing it. And then I went back to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and I did my blood work again, and it's at a 5.5 now. So this, I know, like I said, Mounjaro helps tremendously, and I'm not on anything but Mounjaro for my diabetes. So it is, and also, again, I'm doing what it takes through nutrition, through movement and exercise. I do cardio and strength training, cardio for my health, heart health, and just other things. Helps me lose some weight as well. Just it's so many things you have to research to find out what it all helps with. But also with strength training, it helps me keep, try to keep some of the muscle that you can lose while you're losing weight. But also, like I said before, you can lose muscle anyway as you age. So it's helping me, keep some of my muscle mass. It's also helping me build some muscle mass. So yeah, I'm doing all the things to make sure, leaving all that stress alone, de-stressing my life, has helped tremendously as well. And it's been doing this thing. So I understand though that you don't want 246 to use Jardiance, or maybe you're using it and you just don't want to use the other medicine. But again, when you talk to your doctor about it, even if you, like I said, you have to find another doctor to help you through that, then, by all means do so. Whatever, that's going to serve you best is what you need to do. But yes, you and your doctors must have that conversation. And, also just ask them, what can I do naturally, to help me with, my diabetes? One thing, again, nutrition, cutting those carbs, some of those carbs out. You don't have to cut them all out. But what I did, I actually, when I did real low carbs, like I said, I wanted to get down because the chart that they have, it goes up to 10, an A1C of 10. Anything over 10 is dangerously high. It can cause all kinds of things, bad things to happen to us if you're over that. And so they want to get it down as soon as possible, which is why a lot of times they do put you on, on insulin right away. But with that being said, me not getting rid of all carbs, but I did get rid of the simple carbs as much as I can of the simple carbs, which is like the white breads, white flours, white rice, table sugars, and just like even all the other sugars too, like as far as the even the honeys, the natural sugars and stuff, I got rid of all of that. And so what I did was I did a lot of like fruits, I did vegetables, green leafy vegetables, what they consider complex carbs, those vegetables. That's what I did. And I ate, of course, a lot of protein. And I made sure I ate it in a right, it's like an order they think that you should eat stuff in. Eat your veggies or your protein first, and then eat your carbs. That will slow down the spike of your insulin. If you front load with either veggies, green leafy veggies, or protein. And since you're on a GLP-1 medication, protein is very, very important for you to have. It helps you stay, full longer. It also helps with that muscle mass too. Besides that, as well as the exercise. So yeah, that's what I did. So ask them, if they can, tell you some natural things you can do as well to help you with the prescription. And I didn't want to take insulin. To be honest, I didn't want to take it. I hated to have to take it. And I was like, I don't want to take this stuff. I told her that. But she was like, before you get out of this hospital, I have to prescribe you, insulin. And so what I did was I went on a mission. I'm not going to be on this insulin forever. That's not going to be my story, right? So I use it as a tool to help me get off of, get my A1C down enough, my glucose down first, and then my A1C down so that I can get off of it. So just to let you know that. And like I said, in 2 months, I was off of both my insulins. They gave me 2 different insulins. I had to take one insulin. It was a fast acting. I had to take it, when I eat, right before I ate. And then I had to take a slow acting at night, just to kind of keep me through the night. And yeah, I found ways to manage my naturally manage my glucose levels with that CGM, continuous glucose monitor, which mine was a Libre 3. And yeah, that helped me out so much. As well as my nutrition and, like I said, my walking. But I went on and took the medicine because I had, I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. So yeah, that's just for you, 4 sticks. All right. So MIDI does HRT and other things. They are highly rated for listening to ladies' needs. Awesome, Mia. So that's good for people that are having perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause as well. Thumbs up the live, please. Yes, please. Thank you, Mia. Congratulations on completing your goal. Yes, yes. Congratulations, Darian says, on weekly live streams. Thank you, thank you, Miss Kim and Mr. Darian. Go Kim. Yes, yes. All right. It's Darian. Oh wow, 4 6. I hope you and your care team can find the right meds to help you. Yes. Great job, Kim J. Congratulations on success. Thank you, Miss Linda. I don't have a care team. Okay, which try to find one. 4 6 is very important. To find somebody that's going to help. Like it's like we've given great you know suggestions. Either, like I said, just continue looking for one where you can physically go to, or try to find somebody, maybe a telehealth doctor, a concierge doctor, or someone can help you. And that's our prayer. We'll put you in our prayers that you find someone soon. Okay. Oh, it's the GLP-1 mixologist, right? At Linda's Journey. Exactly. I hope you and your husband and grandson are doing well, Miss Linda. Yes. She is doing the thing here with them mixed drinks. Um, and she made what, sorbet? She getting all fancy and everything. Yes, go to see her channel, check it out. Linda's Journey. Jojo says, I'm 3 weeks in, 2.5 milligram, not much down. Feels like a placebo. I'm sorry to hear that, Jojo, but you're only 3 weeks in. Some people, they lose. First of all, 2.5 is a loading dose. It's for you to help your body get used to the medication. Okay. Everybody does not lose on 2.5. Some people do, some people don't. You just never know. So keep hope alive, and know that it's going to help you. You definitely will take it for the first 4 weeks normally on the 2.5, and then you keep talking to your doctor, let them know what's going on with you on the 2.5. You can keep a journal of how you're feeling, what's going on. Make sure you try to eat, try to make sure you're eating a lot of your protein, front loaded with protein. Get as much as you can of that. You can use a TDEE calculator if you want to see what calories you should be eating, consuming a day, the amount of calories, your macros, like your fats, your protein intake, and your fats, protein, and the number of carbs, the amount of carbs you should be eating if you're trying to lose weight, which is a cut. So you want to make a calorie deficit. All these things will help you on your journey to lose some weight. But yeah, you're on a starting dose, so I think it's going to help you along the way. Some people you lose at what they call a turtle pace, slowly. Some people lose fast. Again, earlier I had stated that, like for me, I lost pretty quick at the beginning. I lost, I think, 15 pounds on the first month when I was on my 2.5, but there are some people that don't. And I lost good for like 2 point something. I can't remember the exact number, but over 2 pounds on an average up until I got on my 7.5 milligram dosage. And then it started slowing down to maybe like 1 point something, pounds per week. Some weeks I lose, some weeks I don't now. Um, some weeks I gain, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing, you know? Um, but there are people that lost slowly at the beginning, and then they, it picked up after they, went up in dosage. So it just depends. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body reacts different to the medication. And so I say just keep going, keep going. And you'll find yourself, losing. And also keep a note of your non-scale victories as well. Like some people may not lose weight, but they feel more energized. They may be able to walk a little bit, faster without getting, winded. You know, some people say, oh, well, I can run around with my baby now, versus what they were doing before. So find some non-scale victories, count those blessings, because that's big too. It's not just about weight loss. Yes, we do want to lose some weight if we can, but it's not just about weight loss. It's Darium also stated, so of course, before I go there, non-scale victories and scale victories are so important. Isdarium also stated, this medication is for to help us with our maybe the diseases or the ailments that we are facing, the that we're facing daily, and so it's helping to combat those things first and foremost. But it is a tool that can help us lose weight as well. So just continue to talk to your doctor about it, JoJo, and see, and just keep them in a loop, and they'll kind of help you with that. But also, like I said, do those things that I mentioned. Maybe, like I said, going on that TDEE calculator and seeing what your macros need to be, how you should be eating in a calorie deficit, so that maybe you'll see more improvement if you're not doing these things already. But if you are doing all the things, with your nutrition, making sure you're eating, choosing better foods to eat as well helps as well. But if it's not if you're doing those things that is not helping, then by all means, again, talk to your doctor about it, and just, keep hope alive. Like I said, you're just on the starting dose, and I wish you the best on your journey. Yes. So Darium says he's apologizing for the presumption, excuse me, a presumption, yeah. Um, Darium said, hey there, JoJo, keep going. Yes, it takes time for everyone's body to get used to the medication and works in our bodies. Right. Stay connected to your docs for titration guidance. Yes. All right, so as Darian Linda says, you are always so thoughtful and caring. He is so caring and so thoughtful. That is so true. Very, very helpful to our community. Very knowledgeable. Yeah, and he cheers us on all the time. They are all well, drinking up everything and begging for more cool drinks in this hot weather. Yes, and you the one to give it to them, Miss Linda. You come up with some good concoctions. Thanks for your support, Miss Darian. All right, Low Carb Queen says, it was great being in your live. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Blessings. Yes. I am on metformin. Okay. 4-6. And I heard metformin is a good medication too. They seem like they put you on metformin first. They were trying to put me on metformin when I was in the hospital. And I was like, no, because I have kidney disease too. And from what I read, metformin is not good for it can it could be an issue for people that have kidney disease. I say it like that. For some people, not saying everybody, but that could be an issue. So when I read that, I'm like, yeah, I don't want that at all. Plus, I know people personally that have been on metformin and they didn't like it. It gave them a lot of side effects that was not good for them. So I just was like, no, just give me. Can I have Mounjaro? I don't want metformin. And they said yes. There's a doctor shortage here. Oh, okay, gotcha. So yeah, maybe check out the teledoc way, but get with your insurance company and try to see if they can kind of give you some advice on that, or like some direction. All right, I eat healthy and low carb does not help. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, so hopefully you can find something that helps you. with it, with your journey, within your journey. And sometimes it's trial and error, sometimes it's trial and error. Like, for me, some things don't work with me that works with other people. So I just keep trying to find things that's going to help me. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare professional. So I can only give you, what I do, but, or what I will do if I need to, if my doctors are not doing what I need them to do for me. But yeah, hopefully something, you find something that helps. That's my prayer for you. Okay. So they may have to, whoever you get the metformin for may have to help you, you know, give you something else for sticks. All right. So Jojo said, thanks. Yes, I log everything. Okay, good. I've only noticed not craving sweets. That's awesome. So that food noise is gone. Good. Paying out of pocket for this. That's crazy. I understand that. That's so true. I can understand that. Paying out of pocket and then it's not working. I can understand that being frustrating for you. Yes. But again, just if you can keep up with paying for it, then hopefully, it began to work once you go on the next dosage, which is the 5 milligrams. And hopefully that will better serve you. But just, I would say, if, like I said, you can't afford it and you want to continue on, keep on keeping on. Hopefully the light is, you see the light, at the end of the tunnel, and it works for you. Okay, so Darian says, some of us with the disease of diabetes have it by genetics, right, and need a different combination of medications to help regulate the glucose. You may need an endocrinologist to find the right things for your body, and that's so true. My PCP, I hadn't been going to the endocrinologist up until I found out about diabetes. Once I found out about diabetes, she sent me straight. She said, hey, you need to go to the endocrinologist. They are better equipped to serve people that have diabetes. So yes, for 6, you may want to try to find an endocrinologist that may help you. They may better serve you. Great, Darian. See, this community, I love them. I love y'all. You got so much knowledge, and things that, we may not think, because we're on live, we're trying to remember all the things that we've done and things, things that we've heard and was taught and things like that. But, it's like we're on the hot seat too. So thank you, Darian, for that. Mill says it takes 4 weeks to feel the full effects of your dose you're on. That's yes. So, again, Jojo, your doctor may wind up putting you on 5, especially, so some people stay on 2.5. Like I said, if it's working good, they may, your doctor may keep you on the 2.5 a little longer. Some people never leave the 2.5. They stay on the 2.5 because they've done that well. They've responded to the medications that well. But some people, a lot of us, most of us probably have had to go up, So I went up to a 5. I lost more on the 5 than I lost on the 2.5. The 7.5, not so much. And like I said, I'm fine. I'm still going to take it. I'm still going to do what I need to do. And one thing I don't want, and I know some people do, but me, I want to still have control over what I eat and how much I eat of it. This medication does help me, better control it, but I want to feel some hunger. I want to feel, I want to have control, as much as I can of it. So, I've been on 7.5 since December. I'm still on it today. I could have gone up to a 10. My doctor wanted to put me at a 10, but I want to, like I said, feel some of that control to be able to say, hey, Kim, be accountable for yourself and make sure you're doing what you need to do. So that's, my choice of staying on the 7.5. And also, sometimes I still have low blood sugars. Just being on Mounjaro, 7.5. And so, we're going to talk about that a little later, with my doctor again. I am tweaking some things, to make sure, okay, let me, go up a little bit more on my, how much I eat, because I've done so well getting it down. Now I can reintroduce things to my, regimen. my nutrition regimen so that I, can get a little bit more carbs in or what have you. And I can eat some simple, some more simple carbs or whatever. But I just make sure I do it in make sure I'm strategic with what I'm doing. I'll say. And that's been helping me a lot. So yeah. All right. So y'all, we have been on this live for a while now. It's time to wrap it up. I thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate you going in the chat. I appreciate you, talking about some of your challenges, and I hope that me, as well as some, the people in the chat, have given you, for those who have had challenges, are experiencing challenges now, have given, good information, some things for you to think about, so that you can, maybe, it can maybe help you along your journey. Again, just, keep pushing forward, keep, looking for things that's going to help you along the way. Sometimes, like I said, it might be a needle in a haystack, but sometimes it's worth, your health is worth finding, whatever it is, and finding the doctors that can help you, along the way. So keep pushing forward. Do not give up on yourself. You are worthy, and you can do this. You can do this. So just keep going. Keep going. For those who are, we've congratulated people along the way as well. And we just continue to encourage you, congratulate. We are a community, like I said, that is very supportive. And I thank you all today for everything that, you have imparted within the live today. And Darium says, and this is the last, the last comment. Darium says, disclaimer: we are not right. Again, we're not doctors, and we are not offering medical advice. Correct. Thank you, Darium, for that. I stated it before, and again, thank you, Darium, for me to state it again. I'm not a doctor, not a healthcare provider, and even if I was, I'm not yours. So, y'all have a great rest of your week. I've enjoyed you tonight, and until next Tuesday, keep on keeping on, and do not let the chatter from these people that are not on GLP-1s, or that are, the backlash that they're trying to give. Do not let that deter you or derail you from your better health journey. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell for more alerts when I drop the next video or the next live. Good night. Sleep tight.